and as, lack of insight as possible. But as a psychic intuitive, I've known about this, even I wouldn't give a name to it. I just knew the dangers when I was a child, so.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. And I don't know how certain people can not think that children it hasn't been hurt, etc. I just,
Well, it's documented, the missing children. So that much they have to acknowledge, right?
yeah,
What they call 411 or whatever, that guy who did a lot of investigation on that, I think it's called. But the bottom line is that then you have to say to yourself, well, why do all these children just disappear off the planet? No bodies, no anything, and this has been going on. And then you find out that human trafficking situation is much worse. In fact, apparently it's at the top of the money-making enterprises, even higher now than the money they get from guns and drugs. So, I mean, who would believe that? It's so carefully hidden in plain sight, in a certain sense. And of course, Hollywood was rampant with it, still is, I'm sure. There are other industries as well. I mean, a lot of people like to point to Hollywood, but actually, these people are everywhere, and it's a huge problem on planet Earth, really having to do with human slavery, and slavery in every sense of that word. And it goes on from there, and that's where the alien agenda comes in, and so on. Without that piece, even with disclosing what I call the adrenochrome highway, if you don't bring in the alien part of that has to do with the alien DNA that a lot of people contain, which gives them the proclivity to have a tendency in that direction, there's going to have to be a complete revamping of society and understanding what this means to humans, and how to live in a society in which some of your fellow man are vampiric towards you, and where the laws need to be in that case, warning your children in basic ways, to safeguard them, etc. I mean, there's this negligence. See, it's not enough that you don't know, but you're also endangering people when you don't know and you refuse to investigate.
right.
So parents that aren't informing themselves at this time, they're leaving their children undefended, vulnerable to all kinds of stuff. And this is a big one. This is huge.
Yeah, so they're not only affecting themselves, they're affecting their children, which is affecting their children, and so on and so forth. Never ending.
I mean, it's a huge responsibility, an area of responsibility that humans have got to face. And part of the reason that I'm sure that I follow Trump, and others that I know that are Trumpers, whatever we want to call that, has to do with his aim in that way, that's part of the White Hat's agenda, to expose that here on planet Earth, and to also to write laws. I think there was an executive order that Trump signed when he first got in office to basically stop, to put something in that would be an obstacle. I think it has to do with, taking their bank accounts and things of this nature. To stop these people that
seizing all their assets and everything in it.
Right. So this is a form of terrorism that goes way beyond the pale, way beyond what conventional ideas of so-called terrorism are really about,
Yeah, it's pretty sad. I see us going to a good place, though. It's going to take some time. Definitely getting brighter, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything, even now, there's nothing that doesn't happen that people are now not, they're basically kind of on it the minute it happens, and then they're analyzing, is it real? Is it fake news? Is it manipulated? How much of it's true? How much of it's false? What's the real objective behind the information? And that is a fabulously good thing.
It
That
is.
people are doing that kind of investigation. And, you know, so, and it's actually kind of, for me, it takes a load off my shoulders, because, you know, in the early days, it was like kind of talking to people. They didn't know what I was talking about. They didn't even know what a whistleblower was when we started.
Right.
You know, they thought that was